Welcome to
Creative Happy Hour,
Woo Woo, where we get drunk
on the creative possibilities.
Hell yeah, we do. It's all about our creative partnership that we have here.
Yes, and that's what we're going to talk about today,
that is
creative partnerships.
So what we're talking about. Cheers to you. Cheers to you guys. Hey. Welcome to
Creative Happy Hour,
Woo Woo, where we get drunk
on the creative possibilities.
Hell yeah, we do every week.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we do this for you guys because we don't like to drink that much.
Oh no, I
today.
mean, we hate this, and you can just tell this is just the worst part of our week.
Getting drunk on the creative possibilities is one thing, but getting drunk at least
Constantly
is. I mean, it takes like professional responsibility.
We have to take like liver cleaners.
Seriously,
lots of exercise, excessive water.
A lot of water, and I don't like water that much.
I know.
At effing all.
I know.
Okay?
You have to drink it because you have to get ready for the next episode.
My liver is in shock. My liver's like, don't do this to me. But it's all about our creative partnership that we have here.
Yes, and that's what we're going to talk about today, creative partnerships.
So what we're talking about. So we are drinking the Sidecar. And the Sidecar is one of those fun cocktails that has a cool name and that we were like, yay, your name works with our theme today. So we're glad. So yeah, we'll be talking about the Sidecar and we'll be talking about creative partnerships, non-romantic creative partnerships, and how those work and how they don't work and how people have done them. And we're also going to be talking about Sidecar Donuts because it's a really cool story about a cool creative partnership.
Yes.
And the donuts are damn good, and please send us some, okay?
And follow them on Instagram because their photos of their donuts are like
so delicious.
They're beautiful.
Delicious,
they're beautiful
delicious.
photos.
Well, they were both they're in artistic realms before they started. Well, the husband and wife team. I know, of course
you can totally tell.
Exactly. So let's talk about this fabulous drink
because delicious drink.
Let's not forget that we're in the drinking part.
Yeah,
so far.
we're drinking
not in the thinking part yet. So let's do the drinking part. Let's try it out, shall we? Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To the Sidecar.
Okay. Oh well, that's rather lovely.
It is.
It's kind of classic. It tastes very classic.
It does.
Interestingly enough, the whole part. I mean, it's got. So we'll give you the ingredients. So the lemon thing, which we've been having in a lot of our drinks, I think we're feeling that we need the vitamin C and the fruit because again, our livers are like, please detox me. But I think that lemon and citrus were not a familiar ingredient in cocktails until more recently.
Well, yeah, because this drink wasn't it the brandy?
No, this was based on a drink from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Originally, and then it was kind of it's kind of an unclear history, but
it didn't have lemon in it.
It did
initially.
Not. Exactly, it didn't. Yeah. So let's talk about the ingredients of this wonderful thing. Okay. So as you can tell, we have a beautiful lemon peel, oh so lovingly cut by me. It could have been all spiralized and have something pretty, but that's not me today. And ours is looking really opaque, and I'm kind of wondering why. I don't know. Cool. We shook it really well.
I don't know. I mean,
it doesn't matter. It's really good.
A lot of times
you can see it's a little muddy, but I like it. It's lemon juice, which is the least ingredient normally. So you've got 1 part of the cognac.
A French cognac.
Hennessy,
which is
in the house.
Cognac is French. So
cognac is French, but we
spell that out.
Yes, exactly. But we went because it's from the French region of cognac.
Cognac.
But we went with the Hennessy, which is French yet Irish, and because we're country and little hoes, and also we didn't have any other cognac, so that's us. And then we did another French edition, the Cointreau, which is our orange liquor, right? Yes. We probably could have done a Grand Marnier, I'm guessing, but we didn't.
We could have,
but we did the Cointreau, and then
that's what we had.
Because that's what we had on hand. Again, use what you have.
So use what you have, right?
There you go. And we added a half part of lemon. And quite delicious and balanced. I think it's really nice. The first recipes appeared in this whole ABCs of mixing cocktails, this Harry dude, that we always cite in our cocktail recipes. So we're getting a little
there's
tired.
always some Tom, Dick, or Harry that
exactly.
made a drink.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it boils down to.
That's what it boils down to. So that's, so what's interesting was I was like, okay, the name of the Sidecar.
Look at sneeze.
Oh shit, are you allergic to the Sidecar? Say it ain't so. Whoa! That was noisy.
Well, I don't want to blow out like a retina or something. You can do that. I mean, we don't want to end this episode at the ER. because I held a sneeze in. I mean, that's just not right.
Yeah, don't keep it in. Don't keep it in.
Just a side note to the sidecar.
Side note to the sidecar.
Don't hold in a sneeze.
Don't keep anything pent up.
Yeah, don't, because
Just
it's
let it out. Let it out. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Yes. So we were intrigued by the concept of the sidecar, as the name being, so it was named after the sidecar on a motorcycle, and I'm like, that's all lovely, but a lot of bars have started serving things in a sidecar format, i.e. they give you a little serving of the drink, and then they have another little portion, a little sidecar on ice next to it. And so that's super interesting. The reasons they do that is to keep the integrity of the drink, especially if there are a lot of add-ins, like, olives or orange peel or what have you. Like, they don't want that muddying up the whole drink. Yeah. So you're adding this unadulterated portion of it to the drink, which I think is really cool, and keeping the temperature right, which I love. We don't do that so much, but I think that that's a really...
No, we don't.
No. But it's a good thing, and the presentation is everything to me as well, so that looks really, really cool when it's,
when it's done right.
When it's done right, when it's executed properly, it's a beautiful thing. But okay, so let's get the flavors of this. Let's try it again. Let's taste it. I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do?
You're gonna throw this in?
I am. I'm just gonna throw it all in.
You're not gonna keep it on the side? You're gonna
I'm
throw
not
it in?
keeping it on the side. I'm doing a all-in car. Yeah, it's a good balance, right? What do you think of the whole...
Well, I feel like the orange, all that citrusy liqueur and the sweetness of the orange liqueur and the lemon, it kind of rounds out those weird...
The cognac. Notes. I agree.
But it has that, again, the cognac has a vanilla flavor to me. So it's like an orange vanilla popsicle, kind of.
It really is. It's kind of like... It
almost has a mimosa taste to it, in a way.
It does. Because I sometimes feel like those cognac drinks are a little bit heavy, and I think of them as like a super serious nighttime thing, but actually we've been mixing them in ways that they're just kind of like, we could be drinking them at Coachella, which is happening right now, or anything like that. I think it works, and it works any time of day.
Really. It really does.
It really works any time of day.
Because it doesn't matter what time of day it is. It's happy hour.
It's happy hour
somewhere.
It's happy hour somewhere. and that's really fun. I was actually reading about when is too early to drink in the day, and it was like, that's a great article.
You have a problem when you're reading about when it's too early to drink.
Yeah, I know.
And so if you're doing that,
that's one of
you need to you need to call and leave us a message.
I was doing it in the name of research. Okay. And because we do that. We do our research for this show. We're very professional, consummate professionals. But yeah, what Micah just mentioned about calling us, we're gonna come up with that phone number, guys, and you guys can call us.
Yeah, we need to hear from you.
We want some voice messages from the bar is what we want.
Yeah, so, straight from happy hour. You call us from happy hour. We want to know what's going on.
Exactly. Mostly culturally. Like if you need to pee or something, we don't need to know that.
We don't need to know your bathroom habits.
Bowel movements are
none of that.
But
you shouldn't be doing that in bars anyway, because
it's filthy.
It's
filthy. Oh God, no.
Anyway,
so
where were we?
Right back to where we were. We were talking about the balance. Oh, how early is too early to drink? They're like, well, you shouldn't drink alone, so that's why you drink at brunch, because it's like acceptable the minute there's somebody else there. They're like, or if your spouse is still in bed or something, like just wake them up.
And then you're not alone. You're not alone.
Then it's a good thing. Yeah. So I was like, well, that's phenomenal. But yeah, so this, I think the flavors are well-rounded. I think the idea of, I think this is kind of a classic thing. Like you order this and you feel kind of sophisticated, Yeah. You feel like a grown-up.
Yeah, because I didn't even know about the sidecar.
I did, because there was this very classic kind of speakeasy-ish bar we used to go to in New York, and they actually had the sidecar, and they had it, kind of along the same category with the French 75, which we've done, and these kind of grown-up drinks. Yeah. And I thought that goes well as well. I mean, the name sidecar, but also the idea of having a creative partnership kind of signals that you're a grown-up in the creative realm, that you're like adult enough to do that. So I thought that it entered into, exactly. So I liked that whole sidecar thing. And then I started thinking of perfect pairings, and so like, what would you pair this with food-wise? If you were having dinner after this, or a bar snack with it, like, can we think of something that would go
well? Because it has a sweet nature, I would add something maybe salty, like a salty cashew.
Ooh, or a cashew. That would be nice, because a cashew has that kind of almost tropically nut flavor. Well, and I was thinking truffle potato chips.
Oh, yeah, truffle potato chips. Well, I mean, and that's the one thing I was reading about creative partnerships is, when you're in a creative partnership, you want to play on each other's strengths.
Yes.
So you may be the sweet citrusy part of the partnership.
Right.
But then you may have the salty.
Yeah.
The salty dog.
Can I be the salty dog? That's me.
So yeah, I mean, it works because you have this, this
a balance. And
this balance between.
And you keep your roles. And that's something where I think today we're probably going to keep like the drinking part and the thinking part kind of like all mixed up in a bucket because it's that kind of day. But yeah, I think that's absolutely right, that you have to keep your identity yet play well together. And that's something major, but which we can return to and we will return to, no doubt.
Yes.
Should we just kind of launch straight into so I was thinking, would this go well with donuts? And I'm thinking it would not. It's
I mean, unless you had a savory donut.
Which they do. Which
like
Sidecar.
I could see like a bacon bit donut.
Yes, which I've tasted before.
Dipped in lard. Sweet lard.
Oh my god, with lard, with like lard icing.
Yeah.
Like you think it's icing, but it's lard.
It's lard.
Oh, that's disgusing. Praise the lard.
Yeah, I mean, it might be keto.
It could be keto if you did it like full on, lard flour.
Lard flour.
I think I believe this.
And you're welcome. If you like that idea, you're welcome. You can have it.
Yes, you can have it. You're welcome to have it. And let us know how that went for you.
The bacon bit donut.
If your heart holds out, you can leave us a message. I think Sidecar actually had a bacon donut. In fact, I'm pretty sure I tasted one last time I was in Santa Monica.
Oh.
Yes. So I have been to Sidecar Donuts, and I loved them before I even knew that it was actually co-founded by the son of a friend of mine.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh shit, that's so cool. So I'm like, we should have been proactive and asked for a box of donuts for this episode.
Yeah.
But darling Sidecar, who we love so much,
we can always
have donuts. We accept that, and we'll just re-mention you, so it's always a good thing.
Yes.
But while you're subscribing to us, also go check out Sidecar Donuts and their beautiful feeds. So Sidecar was started by essentially 3 creative partners with a background in, I think they've got photography and they've got some other visual
graphics or something.
Yes, and then a chef is the third founding partner, I believe. And two of the partners are a romantic couple. They're husband and wife. And so they started this because first they were fascinated by coffee. That was
not hard to do.
Yeah, so Sumter Pendergrast is like the, one of the partners and son of my friend. He really loved coffee, and he was obsessed with, finding the right kind of coffee and Stumptown coffee and all this stuff. And then he's like, what goes really well with coffee? What's a great sidecar to coffee? And that would be obviously a donut. Coffee and donuts is a match made in heaven. And so but the actual name Sidecar, I thought it was that, but the actual name was that he was with his grandfather, I believe. And they had the donuts, and they were talking about serving the donuts with the donut holes together. And the grandfather's like, oh, the donut hole's kind of a sidecar to the donut. I was like, oh my god, that's
and
so
the Sidecar Donuts was born.
Yeah, yay! Exactly. And then they just keep things fresh all the time. They're like always inspired by what's going on around them. They're super inspired by community.
It sounds like they get the community involved and they contribute a lot back to the community.
Well, they give back. They have a program called Side Cares.
Yes.
Super cute. And so they give back to the community that way. And it's just a really nice circle.
A circle. Like a donut.
A donut shaped circle.
Oh.
And then you go, and so I love it. Yeah. So I think that's really cute that they, that they do that. And it's such a great idea. So I really wish them the best of luck because it's a great concept, and it shows how a partnership can work as well, because like the husband and wife have their own strengths. It's incredible how each one of them has their role, and then the chef is the same way, where they all respect each other's input, but they all collaborate in different ways, and so they've established that from the get-go, and I think that's why it works so well.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah,
for sure,
it's kind of awesome.
It's kind of awesome. It's amazeballs.
It's amazeballs. It's amazedones. So I looked up a few like famous creative partnerships that were not romantic ones, just and I came up with a few interesting ones, like Andy Warhol and Basquiat, for example, being one of them that I thought was really intriguing. Have you heard a lot about their creative partnership?
No, I haven't.
Basically, I think that Andy Warhol knew that he had this notoriety. He knew that he had a lot of the connections, but I think he felt he didn't really have the street cred. And I think that he thought that Basquiat would bring that to him. And also I think that Andy Warhol had this whole process. He was very, kind of, with the whole silk screening thing and with the layers and the collage type stuff that he was doing and the multimedia. I think that he thought that Basquiat was going to bring some more immediacy to his work.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel more drawn to Basquiat. I don't know, like creatively, Warhol his art didn't really speak to me, but maybe...
To me, it was very commercial in a way, and which is,
Which is fine. It just didn't appeal to me that much.
But I think he was very conscious of that. See, I think that he's like, I think that's one cool lesson for a creative partnership where he's like, what am I missing?
Yeah, and I definitely think that there can be more. I mean, and you look at the other creative partnership that I think of is Steve Jobs and Wozniak.
I was
creating Apple in a garage and
completely different personalities.
I mean, very different, but really, Steve brought kind of the vision of this company, whereas
the public
Wozniak was like actually plugging.
Yeah.
He was actually doing the physical work of it.
Yes.
And so they really complemented each other.
They totally did.
They brought in, they gave each other the parts that each of them didn't have.
Absolutely. And I think that they did have this unity of vision that's super important because they were both going to work towards it. And, often at first you don't have a payoff to a creative partnership. And that's another interesting thing where you're like, okay, either are we starting this creative partnership, and they knew this was a company that they were going to try to move forward, but the goals can change, but as long as you kind of can communicate and stay on the same page about where you're going, I think that will be super successful. And I think that essentially, both of them played to their own strengths, and it took them further than it ever would have.
And I think, you might have this vision of it becoming this, ultimately it's going to bring an income perhaps, or it's going to become a company or a brand. But you don't always know, and you still...
No, you never do. Exactly.
And I think that part of the partnership is where you have that chemistry, where you're still compelled to create together.
Totally.
Even though you don't know where it's going.
Totally.
And I think that's...
that helps so much.
You know when that's happening.
Totally.
You
and
recognize it when it's happening.
And that's often you'll meet somebody and be like, we need to do something together. And I think you recognize that.
I think you and I always had that feeling.
Always.
Because we were always
do
doing little projects together.
Yes.
And then... and I think it was always part of our connection.
Always. I mean, we had our crafting Mondays or whatever the hell
we would do vision boards together.
Our vision boards, which,
Or we were like picking the color for the wood floor. We were mixing Rubio Monaco.
We're doing mixology.
Yeah.
Very different type of mixology.
Oh, well, there's early roots to this.
There was alcohol involved still. But
generally it was just wine, but then...
It was. Yeah. We've grown and we've branched out.
We've always been mixing shit together.
We have. But then I think that there is that thing of being able to push each other, when the going gets tough, like we're tired as hell and we've been working our butts off, but it's so much easier to be like, okay, you know what, it's hard, but we're both going to get through it and we're going to encourage each other. And, if one of us has something lacking, if it's like, oh, hey, I didn't have time to do much of the research this week, it's like, hey, I'm going to pick up the slack, or hey, can you pick up some lemons?
And I think also recognizing, I feel like, and I said this to you earlier, I feel like you really are the producer of the show.
I'm the editor.
But I mean, like you have this amazing ability of making it this tangible visual product, and I just think it's so fantastic. I mean, I'm in awe of what you create. I truly am, because I feel like, I have all these ideas, and I feel like I have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
However, you really are, you're doing a lot of the Wozniak.
I'm the Woz.
You're the Woz.
I'm the Woz. She's Steve. I'm the Woz.
I am not Steve. Do not dump that shit on me. That does not mean
no. I always feel like I know that I'm gonna have the idea that I'm gonna be like, okay, let's nail this down. This is our theme. Yeah. This is what we're doing. But then I know you're gonna bring these really cool elements that the crazy shit you read or your quantum physics or whatever you're gonna bring to it. Yeah. That I'm like, awesome, because I wouldn't have letting that out of my brain.
Yeah. She keeps letting me show up.
Yeah. It's like I'm like, this is great because it kind of feeds. It gives another dimension.
Well, you kind of realize when when you're thinking about doing a creative partnership. I was reading about the Tory Burch Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
Empowering women entrepreneurs.
Absolutely, yes.
And, she talks about how doing creative partnerships, you bring in these elements where you don't necessarily have, you don't have the platform or the experience.
Yes.
And, like what they did was mixing art with human rights.
Right, which is amazing. Like that is so, like finding it, and that's a really great creative process when you brainstorm and go, first of all, how can I create the best message possible? How can I create the best product possible? How can I enrich it with things? And then how can I get it out there?
And how can I do things that are meaningful, that
are meaningful, but that will also kind of reach all these different audiences. And that's where you look at all these big brands working with artists, like all of them, Nike, Adidas, all of them work with artists. And I was looking at how do those things come about and how are they successful? And I think that the brand needs to be aware that they are acquiring a new platform through the artist and vice versa. The artist is getting, more money behind them probably, or more dissemination of their work to a different audience as well. But it has to be, okay, you need to let that artist run wild and be themselves, because if not, it's not going to be as successful if you're limiting their creativity.
Yeah.
Like that's what you hired them for. You're there as the security. You're there as the means. And then the artist is doing this thing. And then are they providing, you're going to be providing a completely new kind of experience. And so, I think that for us coming together doing this podcast, we had to learn some skills. And then we each brought our own brand of skills to, the table. And then it's going to help us to branch out and create a whole new experience that me or you, like neither one of us would have been able to pop out a podcast by ourselves. Like I
have no ability to do that by myself. I really needed, I remember the day, we spent probably more than a few weeks kind of hashing it out.
Yeah.
And then you were like, okay,
let's do it.
You pulled out the camera and you were like, let's start filming. I'm like, what? I'm not ready to film. I can't film.
I'm like, that's what we're doing.
And you're like, that's the point of
That's the point. That's what we're doing.
And so...
And then that's the thing that I had made up my mind earlier to get the camera, to get the equipment. Like I had that on hand, which is something that, you've probably been like, I'm not going to buy this.
Well, no, I looked into because I had, and I'm not going to say the name of it because I think we should ultimately, we could still produce it.
Yeah,
but
our goal, we're going to be doing more and more creative partnerships here. Like our goal is to have more people creating podcasts on our platform.
Yep.
And we're going to be influencing each other and we can promote each other. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But
we want it to be a creative platform. But
yes.
I definitely was looking at, microphones and, how could I do this? And technically, and it's just freaked me out.
Yeah.
I have all these ideas and I can talk about a lot of stuff and, I have a lot of interest. However, that whole part, the technology part, it freaked me out a little bit.
Right. But it freaks me out too. But I think that from the moment that you tell your partner, like, let's do this, then it's so much easier to then divide and conquer and be like, okay, we're going to take this off in bite-sized chunks. Like I just told you, like, hey, can you go start to find us, some more possible partnerships and this and that? Because that's something that's a slight stretch for you, but not much. This is something that's in your core competencies that you can do. And for me, like the technology was something that I knew would be possible, challenging, but possible. But the fact that it's two of us, we feel like we owe each other our best work.
Yes.
And,
and you feel accountable. I think that is the one thing that a partnership will
yes.
You may have these little, devils and angels on your own shoulders. I'd be like, I really need to do the laundry, or I don't feel like doing that right now. I'm going to go for a hike instead, which are all good things. However, when you are accountable to someone else, if you're the kind of person, I feel accountable to my partnership with you, and I feel like if I agree to show up,
you're showing up.
I'm showing up.
Right. And
it's
if we're
part
sick
of
as
who
dogs,
I am.
like we're going to try to still do this.
I think we have to, have that commitment to
so much
the bigger picture. And,
exactly. But I think you recognize that in somebody else. Like I was looking at Warner Brothers, which became one of the first huge movie making, crews. Like why were they so successful? It's because they were four brothers who each had these wildly different talents. You had the business, you had the creative, the law, you had all the different types. built-in partnership because they had learned from childhood, I'm guessing, to both value each other's differences and talents
and collaborate,
and to learn how to collaborate, like play nice together, and also that they probably had a little bit of one-upmanship, just a tiny bit, which John Lennon and Paul McCartney, who we were talking about last week, they had that one-upmanship, which I think pushed them creatively.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think originally they started out kind of like, oh, you're good at this, and you know, and I'm making this song, but I don't know, like I have this melody, but I don't know what the lyrics, you know, and they would collaborate, but I do think that as it evolved,
oh my God, yes, so much
it became more competitive, which drives more excellence,
right? And but it drove them to the point where afterwards, then they were like, "We're not doing this together anymore," which is fine. But I think that's because they had lost the collaborative aspect.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another thing of creative partnerships. So you have to be committed to the partnership and of being together on it. And once you're not anymore, it's served its purpose and it's run its course.
Right.
There's this really interesting guy who's an executive at Estee Lauder, Donald Robertson. He's a really adorable guy. He is, you know, a business person, but he's also a visual artist. He does a lot of sketches. He does he's a fashion illustrator. He does this giraffe character, I believe. I wish I remembered his name. I think it's like Wilbur or something. It's a coffee table book. It's got
for
glasses.
Some reason,
it's like
I feel like I've seen it.
This guy's everywhere. Like you can't, even if you haven't realized you've seen it, you've seen it. He's everywhere. He does all these lips. He's done all these collaborations.
Yeah,
with
I feel like I'm familiar.
All these products. And he's the coffee table book. He collaborated with his wife on it, but he's got a full-time job at Estee Lauder. But he's been partnering with all these different brands, and so he has all these really interesting rules for creative collaboration that he thinks has made him kind of successful at doing that. And this has really enriched his career at Estee Lauder and just in general. So he says, first of all, collaborate with your friends. And I think that when you're starting a business, for example, doing it with your friends is not necessarily a great idea, but I think that a creative collaboration is a different thing. I think a creative collaboration, like you do have to be friends, because I think you do have to know each other on a deeper level and understand, like it's so much more than just shared economic vision or shared values. It's really like, how do you do things and how do you think?
But I do think, I mean, in regards to you and I do think our original, we were always friends. I mean, I think that, I mean, obviously we started out as friends. However, I do feel like our initial interest was creative ventures. Like we immediately connected on that.
Yes, very much. But I think, and that's the story, that's like the common point that's come through time and time. All of the different creative partnerships I was reading about, they really did recognize pretty quickly on in the relationship that like, hey, we should do something together.
Well, and I think, I mean, you look at, you know, Paul and John Lennon, you know, Paul McCartney and John Lennon, you know, they connected on music. Yeah. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, we're hanging out.
Let's go hang out at the pub.
And by the way, you play music. You know, it was, they connected on music.
That. On music. And like, I've had friends where you meet each other, you kind of recognize this kindred, like creative spirit where you're like, okay, it's like, we're going to do something together at some point. Yeah. And often that point doesn't come right away, but you know it and you keep kind of discussing it. Yeah. And then it's going to happen, which is interesting. So this guy says partner with your friends. And it's really interesting because it's a more organic way of getting collaborations. And also often people think of collaborations and they think only in business, but when it's creative, it doesn't, just because you collaborated with this friend doesn't mean that you can't collaborate with that friend. And it's not so much a competition as just what more stuff can we get out there? How far can we go with this? How can we explore these themes and ways of having creative concepts together? So I thought that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every time we walk away from this, you know, this show, and we spend a couple days, you know, I'll talk to people, you'll talk to people, we'll do more research, and then we always come back with like,
we're like, hey,
what about this? What about this? What about this? And, you know, and they're still being gestated.
Very much so, yes.
I think that that's still in the process, and these creative ideas will eventually be born.
Exactly. Yes, and they can exactly. They can sit there and gestate. Yeah. like my food baby that I'm gestating right now. Yeah. They can gestate, but the funny thing is, like you just mentioned, the distance and the leaving coming back. And that's where I think that creative partnerships are kind of easier to live with than romantic partnerships that are creative, because you have that distance and it's just built into it.
It's built into it.
But I was reading about a bunch of creative collaborators who actually decide that they're going to live together, travel together, and do all this stuff together. I'm like, wow, at what point does that get too close? You know, I'm watching a TV show right now, the OA, which is a crew of friends from school, and three of them have been traveling together and creating together. They come apart for other projects once in a while, but it's incredible that they've chosen to be this unit of creators together. And I guess they just recognized that in each other when they met, which I was like, that's really cool. But back to our friend Don Robertson. So he goes, collaborations beget collaborations, which is what we're saying, that, you know, you'll talk with your boyfriend about, you know, and he's on this other podcast, and then we'll be like, oh my God, and this is a great idea. And then we can reach out to them, and it's going to be this whole web. And that's where social media helps a lot. Yeah, it does. Because you do build this, you know, kind of group and community. And I feel that we're starting to do that with our Insta and with our YouTube and all of that. Like, I love that we mostly are following other podcasts and that they're following us, because, you know, you kind of see
you
this
look
change.
at that and you're just like, wow, that's so interesting that that's what they decided to focus on.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, there's all different kinds of.
You can focus on so many things, and then you see, you know, whenever we have a chance, we'll like listen to somebody else's podcast, or we'll watch.
Yeah, it's so geeky. I love it.
I know, it's super nerdy, but we do love it, and it's always this really fascinating thing. We're like, oh, we kind of do that.
Well, it's a way to talk to other people about you know what they're doing and how they take a deeper dive on things that maybe you've looked at on the surface, but then you haven't really gone deeper into it. I mean, I think there's a woman that does a podcast on dresses. And I'm just
there's the one, there's the costume history one that's incredible, as well, as if that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, I think so.
So cool.
And I think that's so interesting.
I think it's fascinating.
It's fascinating.
And I'd much rather listen to her digest of it than have to go and do my own deep dive. You know, and that's what's wonderful, is that, you know, maybe our podcast is going to bring up some questions that people have, or bring up some things that people have been thinking about. And
hopefully drinking about
it. But I feel like we're kind of a little digest of things, and then people can choose to pick and choose and go into these things more deeply.
Well, I mean, obviously creativity is an umbrella.
Absolutely,
and under the umbrella there's lots of things. But I think, you know, again, this is always what I go back to, is it's the kind of the frontier that you're, you know, it's the wild card. You know, you have all this artificial intelligence, that, you know, they're building these things that are predictable, and these robots, and, you know,
we're never predictable. We don't know what the hell we're going to talk about. We don't know what we're going to talk about.
Well, I just heard about from my friends, they have these little robots that deliver food.
I saw them. I went to visit the Berkeley campus, and there were freaking robots delivering food, and it freaked me out.
My friends were very freaked out. I mean, we were at Pond Farm yesterday in San Rafael, the new brewery.
Oh, cool.
And super cool place. You should go to Pond Farm in San Rafael, California. Very cool. Their beer is very good, and the space is incredible.
I need to check it out.
That's it's in that old furniture store that was the wooden duck.
I was wondering what was going to go into. Okay,
it's cool. So cool. You should go there. But anyway, they, you know, they were my friends were telling us about these robots, and their kids were interacting with it.
So crazy.
And I'm telling you, we need creatives to continually
save us from the robots.
Save us from the robots. Hashtag save us from the robots.
Hashtag save us from the robots, for sure. But so since we're so unpredictable, here we're going to bounce back to my friend.
Sorry, I keep
Dawn Robertson.
Sidecarring.
She doesn't like Dawn.
I keep
She's sidetracking the sidecar.
Sidecarring.
Yeah. Dawn, so he also said the interesting thing is, so many people, when they start a business, they think about the money right away. They're like, what's my growth strategy? What's my, you know, how's the cash going to come in? What are the income streams? But creatives don't necessarily think that way, as we've said time and time again, and we've observed in our own lives.
It's the good, bad, and the ugly of it, you know, right?
Because but he
maybe
says
we should be thinking about it.
Well, maybe, but he says don't go into it for the money, because here's the thing. He's like, creatives always have ideas. We have so many ideas, and if you're saying I'm only going to do this for the money,
it's a dead end.
It's a dead end. You're killing your idea. You're preemptively killing that idea and not allowing it to come out, because you're saying
it's a dead end.
That a prerequisite to having my idea come out is getting paid for it.
Right.
And so do you want to bring your idea out? Do you want to have that collaboration where you're getting the extra tools that are going to help you to get it out without the money?
Right.
And be able to get that out? Or are you just going to kill it?
Or are you just going to use money as an excuse for not doing a creative project?
Yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
oh, well, I don't have the money to fund that, so I can't do it.
Right. Exactly. So I
mean,
thought that was
I feel like a lot of people do that.
A lot of people do that.
It's an excuse.
But the funny thing is, then people do that, but yet those are the same. Here she sneezed again. It's so crazy.
I know. It's allergy season.
Allergy season. Beyond.
Everything is blooming.
Everything. Oh my God, it's horrible. But no, the money thing is really fascinating. But so many of those same people who won't do a creative project because they're like kind of in it for the money.
Yeah.
They also think that if they start a business project, the money is going to start rolling in instantly, and that is not true. Like there's so many false starts and foundation work that have to go into any business project. Like good luck with that. And I think that our whole, speaking of technology and robots, like I think that our whole Silicon Valley model of I have this brain fart of an idea and people are going to throw money at me instantly.
Well, I mean, look at, that podcast I led, The Dropout, with, what's her name?
Good old what's her name? I love her too. I don't know.
She's creating that where you just prick your finger and you can read.
Theranos.
Elizabeth Holmes, is that her name?
From Theranos.
Yeah, from Theranos.
Yeah.
And she did. She got all these people and she got all this money.
All she had to do was talk like this and wear a black turtleneck and people thought she was cool.
But she never created anything.
She did not, no.
And it's pretty interesting because she pulled all these really...
She became a billionaire on nothing. I mean...
But it was
it's all gone now, I hope.
Well, I think the court case is still happening, but...
so wild.
No, but I agree with you. Like, it went too far, and it really has to kind of go back to building a creative...
Absolutely.
You cannot...
Small steps.
Yeah, you can't have the cart before the horse. I don't mean to bring in like old
analogies. Old images like that.
Yeah,
but
young people probably don't even know about the cart.
We're doing the anti-robot though. It's the
anti-robot series right now.
That brings me back to my friend Don Robertson, who said that keep a collaboration within your means. And what he meant was a creative collaboration. He meant your means are not only your financial means. Like, don't let it make you go broke, because that's going to discourage you from doing the next collaboration. Don't let it make you go crazy, because that, again, is...
It's not the point.
Looney Bin's not a creative space.
No.
And also, don't make it... And try to do what you can so that it doesn't suck up too much of your time and energy. It has to be a balance. Like, when we have, we're like, oh my God, I'm going insane, and we have to film this, and I have to edit it. I'm going to be like, you know what, Micah, I'm putting less captions on this video because I can't do it. I'm going to keep this within my creative means so that we can get it out and make it happen.
Yeah, we have to keep the ball rolling without killing the ball.
Yeah.
It's just, it really is. And I think ultimately, if you build it organically.
That really, really helps. Yeah,
and then you can build it organically and grow it sustainably.
Yes.
Then hopefully at some point we will get to the place where we can start delegating.
That's another thing. The delegation's an interesting piece, because so many creatives start to work together and they don't think of the business side. They don't think of how they're going to delegate. They don't think of how they're going to share responsibilities. A lot of creatives who start a creative partnership don't know how to do the business part. So I came up with a list of things. That
I did too.
Oh, good. That creatives should think about when they're thinking of starting a creative partnership. So let's go.
So what do you got, kid?
Okay. What does the kid have?
What do you got, Sidecar?
Yeah. So Sidecar has, number one, a vision statement.
Yes, the vision statement.
The vision statement.
I like that.
Right? First of all, we made vision boards all the time. I just mentioned that. But
we should do a vision board for creative. We did do, remember?
Well,
we had the same.
Yeah, we had the same thing on the vision board. But what we should do is that we should actually do one. Yeah. And then we should show it off and we should kind of analyze. We could psychoanalyze ourselves creatively.
We're doing that. We're doing that.
That's a good one. Yeah. I like that. We'll come up with, we have to come up with a drink that.
Yes. A visionary drink.
While you're subscribing and, maybe is there a drink called like a Vision Quest or something? That'd be cool.
Ooh, Vision Quest? That might be
ayahuasca.
That. Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, we might need a shaman to facilitate the episode.
I have a Peruvian friend. She's not a shaman, but she can pretend.
I know a shaman. I went to a shaman one time. Lita Blue Sky.
Scared.
She's very cool.
I'm scared.
She lives in a yurt.
Of course she does. Honestly.
Why wouldn't she?
Why wouldn't she?
If I was a shaman, I would live in a yurt.
I would so live in a yurt. Okay,
anyway, where were we?
Vision statement. So it has to be clear. You have to craft it. You have to literally write it down and have all members of your creative partnership understand the vision statement, because that's crucial. If you can't see where you're going,
because you can always come back to it and say, okay, this, you know, does what we're doing, is this choice that we're making for this program, is it, I mean, does it meet the criteria of the vision statement?
Exactly. And then we were talking about delegating and everything else. And before you have extra people on board, you have to really draw out what are the roles and responsibilities.
Define the creative roles, or define the specific roles.
Completely.
And like I said, play to each other's strengths.
Absolutely. Like, you need to have a very honest conversation about what your strengths are, what your, you know, what you bring to the table. And I think that that's major, because so many frustrations can come when you have a creative partnership and one of the people ends up doing a lot of non-creative things and then is like, no, but I'm an artist too. And, you know,
you're making candles for the episode was not part of the vision statement.
Exactly.
No, I'm joking. Even though it's not.
No, but there's that. So I think that that's major. And then there is that magic financial part. Like, if you magically
outline the rewards, the financial rewards.
Absolutely. I'm glad we have the same list. I'm so happy about that. See, this is incredible. This is where we have like our own strengths.
Synchronicity.
Like, we have the same freaking list. It's like, you have a list, I have a list too. That's great.
Wow.
So hey.
I was listening.
Yes, listening to the universe.
Yes.
Financial rewards, how are those distributed? How do those come about? How many of them go back into the partnership? How many of them are used for new shoes, or, that'd be awesome.
Lipstick.
Okay, lipstick's a very important part of our podcast here, because we always have to apply lipstick. This light washes us out.
Yeah.
We need that thing.
We need to make sure that you can see our mouths moving on the screen.
Blah, 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 blah.
Because otherwise it's just
white. It's just white.
It's just a blur.
I'm thinking we need to find a makeup brand that's maybe local and sustainable, and that has maybe lipsticks named after drinks.
Ooh.
And they could possibly send us some, because I think that would be amazing. Yeah.
I'd love, and then we could be like, not only are we featuring the sidecar, but we are wearing the sidecar.
Exactly. So that's a thought that I think is a good one. Yes, but
again, you're welcome. If you're a lipstick company,
you're welcome.
You're welcome. That was a really good idea.
Such a good idea. We make it so easy for you to sponsor us.
I mean, you can even sell this shit in bars, in the bathroom, like tampons, because a girl where's my lipstick?
Where's my lipstick?
Where the hell's my lipstick? I cannot go back out to the bar without putting
money
lipstick
into the
on.
tampon machine.
So again, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yes. So there's that. Then there is, who's the point person for each form of communication? Right? Like, who's going to take care of, like, what if there's an emergency? What if there's a client who needs to know something at the last minute? What if there's a meeting where only one of you can go? This happened to me when I was writing a screenplay once. We had a meeting with a producer, and the producer was kind of notoriously shy and busy, and it was like, which one of us is going to go and
not be shy and busy?
Yes, but also which one's going to express our concept best. Like, it's like we all have egos, and we all would love to be the one who's meeting this producer. But like, at the end of the day, it has to be the one who's going to translate the vision best. You know what I mean? And it's interesting because we did have a disagreement. And at the end of the day, I was like, listen, it's going to be me. But there was, and you know what? And the reason for that was simply that I'd actually written more of the script. Like, seriously.
So you had a deeper dive into the script.
Yeah. And also I could trust myself not to like drink my way through the meeting. Believe it or not.
Yeah, that's why I don't get sent to the meeting, because she cannot trust that I will not do that, people.
Believe it. And also, if I were to drink through the meeting, I could probably still express myself, because you've seen me do it time and time again. It sometimes fucks up, but it's sometimes
it's super fucking brilliant.
Effective, right? It's rare, but sometimes it happens.
I mean, sometimes.
We have
that. So tackle problems together.
Yes. And
outline strategies and tactics.
Yes, for sure.
That one's kind of boring.
It is boring. No, and also, an interesting thing is, so I just talked about a little conflict that happened between, when we were like, who's going to meet with. So how do you resolve conflict as a creative partnership? Like, there's got to be kind of a way of like, how's our conversation going to go? What's too far to get into a disagreement? Like, are we going to freak out and fight about it, or are we going to have a
Well, I think you have to be honest and transparent. I think you have to say, hey, this is going on, and I want to. You have to go back to the main commitment, and you know, and I think that's also, I mean, even when you're in any kind of relationship, you go back to the original agreement.
Exactly. And also sometimes you can get a person who's a mediator who can do that for you. You know, you can designate one, but that has to be done kind of ahead of time, I think. So I think that's...
Well, one of the things that they say is every partnership takes time to find its groove, and you need to give it the time and space.
I think that's really good. Like, that is so true. You do need the time. And I think that's kind of the most important thing, is to know that it's not going to fall into place automatically. I mean, you put in all that you can.
Yeah.
Make it really as, you know, transparent, as clear, as outlined with, you know, vision and goals.
Yeah.
But then you do need, it is creative, so you do need to let the
creative
creative process
it to unfold.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't force something. It's not pure business. I mean, despite the fact that, yes, you're going to be looking at gains or whatever, you need to let it be free. That's the benefit of being in a creative partnership as opposed to just a strict financial agreement. And I think so it's both a difficulty but a gift. So
I forget who said it, but I mean, we work for love and money.
I love that.
Not just, you know, and so it's, yeah, I mean, you have to be able to financially support it, but you also have to still have the love of it. Otherwise, it loses its creative essence.
I love that.
And we're not into losing the creative essence.
We're not. So here's to
I'll
love
take
and
my
money.
glasses off to that.
Here's to love and money.
Love and money.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Happy you guys. Join us next time where we will get drunk on the creative possibilities yet another time. See ya. Bye.